G'day, Ben here, and I'm back after a bit of a break. I want to talk to you today in this video about this $178 taxi fare. And, I want to use this as a lesson in business and understand a bit about consumers and the marketplace and how your business can be affected by fighting for the wrong thing. And I think that the taxi industry is dead, and I know that's going to be controversial. I'd love to get your comments down below, but I'll tell you why. And it's not Uber's fault. Uber just happened to be in the right place at the right time, where there was no, where customers wanted more. And Uber was fighting for what customers wanted. The taxi industry was fighting for what the taxi driver wanted, and is still fighting for what the taxi driver wants, and it doesn't work. I haven't caught a taxi cab for a couple of years. I'll be open about that. I'm a much bigger fan of the Uber system. I love the flexibility, I love the way they work, and I love the fact that the drivers are held accountable to keeping their cars clean, driving safely, and they have a scoring system. I think it's a brilliant system for consumers, fighting for the customer. But I came out of the airport, I'd been away in Tasmania, and I got back Monday, and if you know anything about airlines on Monday, or Virgin in particular, Virgin suffered a technological hiccup with their booking system or their check-in system, and there was major delays across the country. Well, I was caught up in that, which meant that I was about 4.5 hours late arriving back in Sydney. It was quite late at night. I came out of the terminal, and I'd looked on my phone, on the Uber app, because I wasn't sure. I'd never caught an Uber from the airport, and I wasn't sure exactly how to go about doing it. I was tired, been travelling, for 15 hours getting from where I was staying in Tassie to get home, and I just wanted to get home. And I looked at the Uber app, and it said $130 for an Uber. It said Uber Lux for $150. I then went to the cab rank, and I said to the cab guy, "How much is it to my place?" He said, "Probably about $150. I went, "Cool. That'll do me." There was one waiting there, I'll just get in. As soon as I got into this cab, I knew I'd made a mistake. The driver was a little bit smelly, no disrespect, he was a nice guy but needed a wash. Couldn't speak very clear English. The car, I asked the driver, I said, "How many kilometres has this car got on it?" 300,000 kilometres. There was a big yellow exclamation mark on the dashboard. I said, "What's that exclamation mark for?" "It's a warning of some sort." And he said, "There's something wrong with the engine." I said, "Well, why haven't they got it checked?" "Well, they don't maintain these cars very well." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Well, they just get driven by different drivers. They don't want to take them off the road, so they don't maintain them very well." Isn't that reassuring as a customer? I've just got in your cab and you're telling me you don't maintain your cars. We get onto General Holmes Drive, which is a nice stretch of road, 80k zone just out of the airport, and the car is surging. And I said to him, "Is that you with your foot? Have you got your foot steady, or is that the car?" He said, "That's the car." I said, "You're kidding me." I said, "You're charging me a premium price and you've put me in this heap of crap of a car, and you're going to expect me to pay a premium price for that." It was terrible. The car was clunky. I did not feel safe, and I knew I was going to be paying a premium because taxis still charging big dollars. Now, my trip was about a 45-minute trip, and granted, it's a good 40 kilometres, maybe 50 kilometres from the airport to my house. And I said to him, "How much do you think it'll be?" $150. Well, the bill was $178.50 for that little cab ride. Now, when we got to my house, it was $170, and I'm okay, I paid the tolls, you've got to pay them regardless. But it was $170. When I paid with my card, my credit card, there was a $7.78 fee. $7.73, $7.80 including tax fee. A $7.80 fee for using my credit card. I don't even think that's legal. They call it a service fee. But the experience was terrible. All the driver could do the whole way was tell me how they didn't look after the cars, how they didn't look after the drivers. I then discovered, I didn't know this, there was no plaque on the window to tell me what the fares were, and I think they're supposed to be by law. I asked him that. He said, "Yes, there is supposed to be one there." And then he explained to me that I'm paying a 20% surcharge for catching a cab after 10 p.m. Didn't even know this was the fact. So here I am in a piece of crap, piece of real shitty car that's got a warning light on the dash, that the driver has openly told me doesn't get maintained, definitely has some sort of problem with the drivetrain or engine because we're surging away. It's very uncomfortable. It's clunky, it's bumpy, and it's smelly, whether it's the driver or it's the car. I wasn't sure. No disrespect to the driver, he was a nice guy. Now, I tell you this because they have started a class action against Uber just recently. I read something in the news, 600 taxi drivers taking Uber to court. They're still fighting for the wrong thing. They're fighting for themselves. Don't fight for themselves, fight for the customer. If you fight for the customer, you will win the customer's loyalty. It's that simple. You're fighting for yourself. You're fighting for it to be the way it always has been. Well, let me tell you, in business, without change, nothing changes. And it's easy to get stuck in this comfortable world where everything was rosy, lack of competition, regulation that protected you, the ability to be sloppy, not maintain your cars. All of that has gone out the window for the taxi industry. This is why the taxi industry is dead. Somebody finally came along and said, we are going to fight for the customers. Customers want flexibility. Customers want better cars. Customers want better quality drivers. Customers want to be able to pay on their smartphones. Customers want a cheaper fare. Customers are who we are doing this for, and guess what? It's going to trump every time. Every single time, that is going to trump. And to me, this will be the last cab I ever catch, ever. And that is why the taxi industry is dead. Now, have I had good cab rides? Yes, I have. There's no doubt about it. But they're rare. They're very rare. And it's the reason I haven't caught a cab for a couple of years. And this is the reason that I will never catch a cab again. Now, if you've enjoyed this live video, give it a thumbs up. The reason, and this is nothing to, I don't want to be political about this, but you can leave your comments down below. This is more about helping you as a business owner understand that it's no good fighting for what you want. Okay, you need to decide, yes, you've got to have goals and desires, etc., what you want to get out of your business, but you can't be fighting for that. If your best interest is the interest of the customer and making sure that customer gets served well and that customer gets delivered what they expect or even more than they expect, then your business will be successful. And if competition comes along, it's no good fighting to push that competition out if that competition has proved that what the customer wants is different to what you're providing. Because sure, you may be successful, and this class action may be successful in pushing these Uber drivers out, who knows. And they have been successful in changing the way that Uber interacts with the public, absolutely. Insurances and, levies that have been charged for every ride, etc. That's all cool, right? That's all cool. I still think if Uber was the same price as taxis, I would prefer Ubers just because of their systems, processes, flexibility, and the assurance that they are batting for me, the customer. It is no good pushing them out, because even, let's say they push Uber out, the taxi industry is still tarnished with the fact that we know, as consumers, we have been taken for a ride. Pardon the pun, but we know we've been taken for a ride for a long time by the taxi industry. We know they're sloppy. We know they're not maintaining their cars. We know that the taxi industry has not had the customer's best interest at heart. We already know that. It's too late, taxi. It's too late. We know your interests are with yourself and not with looking after your customers. Hey Bryce, thanks mate, 100% agree. The taxi industry is dead. And it's a good lesson for businesses all over the globe that if you fight for what you want rather than what your customers want, you will end up with nothing. You might win short term, but long term, it will not pay dividends. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Share it around, let others know. I'd love to hear your comments and ideas down below. And good to be back in the chair here doing a live video. I said I had a week off, enjoyed the R&R in Tassie in the rainforest, but I'm back here helping you build the business you imagine. So if you want help to grow your business, let us know. Meet with myself or one of my team. I'll have a chat about how we can help you. Until next time, take care, have a profitable day. See ya.